Welcome to Somewhere Through Time. This channel is dedicated to people who experience past life memories, those who simply cannot forget. Here, you can share your stories without judgment while remaining anonymous. Hey guys, before we begin, I just want to apologize for sounding a little nasally today, or at least more than usual. I'm a little bit under the weather, so that's why. So grab your beverage of choice. For me today, it's going to be hot tea and cough drops. Alrighty, let's begin. Today's story is about a Turkish boy named Ismail. At a young age, he was recalling very strong memories from his past life. His parents, who didn't believe in reincarnation, soon realized that their boy was in fact the reincarnation of a local man they once knew of. The Indian professor Dr. H.N. Banerjee, who apart from Professor Stevenson and Professor Haraldson is probably the most well-known research scientist on the subject of reincarnation. I will now tell you about a case, which in my eyes is even stronger proof of reincarnation. In Adana, on the southern coast of Turkey, lived Mehmet Altinglish and his family. One day, his 2-year-old son said to him, "I don't want to live here anymore. I want to go back home to my children." His father said, "What did you just say, Ismail?" "Don't call me Ismail. My name is Abid," the child replied. His father then wanted to know from where he got these ideas. His son explained that his real name was Abid Suzumus, and that he had been the owner of a large garden nursery until 3 men had broken in and killed him. His father clearly remembered that several months before the birth of his son, a man named Abid Suzumus, the owner of a large garden center who lived just over a kilometer away from Mr. Altinglish, had been killed with an iron bar by 3 men. There had been many newspaper reports about this incident, which happened on the 31st of January, 1956. Mr. Suzumus had employed 3 men who applied for a job in one of his garden centers. These 3 men had locked him into a shed and had murdered him. After that, they had broken into the house and had killed his second wife and her 2 children. The 3 murderers were caught. After a sensational trial, 2 of them were hanged, while the 3rd died in prison. Ismail continued to insist that he is Abid and repeatedly begged his father to take him to his previous home. He often cried out in his sleep, "Gulsarin, Gulsarin," and woke up crying. His parents knew that this person he was calling in his sleep was his daughter from his past life, since he had told his parents about her. When Ismail was 3 years old, his father finally agreed for him to be taken to the house of the murdered gardener. When they had entered the house where there were about 30 people waiting for them, they wanted to put the boy to the test to see whether he would recognize members of his former family. He immediately went up to one of the women, called her by name, and told the others that this was his first wife. All these events occurred in a Muslim country in which the Islamic Church forbids the belief in reincarnation and has certainly never taught it. There are smaller sects such as the Alevites and the Sufis who do believe in reincarnation. The newspapers published 2 articles about this family reunion. One story read as follows: The boy Ismail had recognized an ice cream vendor and had called him by name, asking him, "Do you remember me?" The man said no, and Ismail continued, "I am Abid. In the past, used to sell watermelons and vegetables instead of ice cream." The salesman agreed that this was so. The boy also told him that he had been the one who had circumcised him long ago. By now, the ice cream salesman was also convinced that this boy had really been the nursery owner he once had known. One day, Ismail met a man and reminded him that he had lent him some money when he was Abid, and that he still owed this money to the Suzumus family. The man agreed that this was true. Another time, he saw a man who was leading a cow on a rope. Ismail talked to him and asked him whether that was the yellow one that used to belong to Mr. Suzumus. The man told him it was. As you can see from this story, children's memories of past lives are not restricted to countries in which the belief in reincarnation is common, but are also found in those where such a belief is frowned upon. Peter Matthiessen once said, "And only the enlightened can recall their former lives. For the rest of us, the memories of past existences are but glints of light, twinges of longing, passing shadows disturbingly familiar, that are gone before they can be grasped, like the passage of that silver bird on Dhaulagiri."